22 years old, you don't often think you're going to die, but that day I wasn't quite sure. It felt like I had an elephant sat on my chest. They said, you might potentially be having a heart attack. And I was like, what? A heart attack? I wasn't partying anymore so much, but I did used to like going to the gym. And that was just working out and trying to keep myself in shape. I used to train with a couple of guys and they got into using steroids. They offered me if I wanted to try something. I thought, do you know what? I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. And I gave it a try, and I did sort of a 3-month course of it, and I whacked on about 1 stone in muscle, and I thought, this is great, you know, and didn't really think about any consequences or anything like that. It was all just, yeah, give it a go, see what happens. And I got a second batch a few months later, and they offered me some, and I said, yeah, okay, I'll have another go. And there was something different about this lot. I don't know what it was. So after a few weeks into doing that, I'm at home and I suddenly start feeling sick and I'm vomiting and I've got chest pains starting to come on. So I'm getting a pain in my chest and it felt like something was sat crushing down on me. And I thought, I've got to do something about this. So I phoned an ambulance in the end. So they sent somebody round. And the paramedics came around and they checked over and they said, yeah, you're having a heart attack. So anyway, they carted me away in the ambulance in the night. And I went up onto the ICU ward with all the old people, and I'm this sort of 22-year-old lad. And I'm feel right out of place. But at the same time, I think, heart attack, how serious is that? You know, and I start thinking that maybe I'm going to die, maybe, you know, my time's up. And whilst I was on the ward, got to a point where, because of my previous experiences with all my lucid dreaming and the out-of-body experiences I'd had, I kind of knew there was more to life than just physical. So I wasn't worried, strangely. I was like, well, if death comes for me, it comes for me. And so I wasn't scared. Anyway, I got booked in maybe a month or so later to have an angiogram, which is to check for the lasting damage that may have occurred to your heart after you've had a heart attack. And I thought, there is nothing that is more important now. I'm not worried about building muscle or doing anything else at all. There's nothing that is more important than being able to access those out-of-body states and to being able to navigate those terrains, because if I was going to die, which I could at any time after that, then I wanted to be ready and I wanted to leave my body in a conscious way. I'd read a lot of stuff about from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and they called it the Bardo Thodol, and it was what happens in the after-death states. They called it the Bardo states. And all of that was ringing true to my own experiences of what it's like to operate beyond the body. And I knew there was more. I just internally, I felt, I knew that this was what happens when you die. And I thought, I want to make sure that I have the one thing that I can take with me, and that is my state of mind, my state of consciousness. So I thought there's nothing more important than training that. It was something that struck a chord with me. I suddenly realised that motivation, high-level motivation, plays a massive role in the amount of success that you have in access. And when I made it the most important thing in my life, I would just have out-of-body experiences over and over and over again, and I'd have them day after day. I'd have them, you know, quite a few a week, maybe 4, 5 times a week I'd be getting access into those states. And multiple exits at the same time. So I knew that it was like I suddenly understood the effect that a real strong motivation could have on the amount of success and the amount of times that I was able to get into those states, because it was all that was on my mind. It was all I thought about. Eventually I went back in and had the angiogram. I'd got to a point of acceptance now. I accepted that I might have damaged myself irreparably and I could potentially die at any point. And I was okay with that. And when I went back in to have the angiogram, they checked me out and they actually diagnosed that I had no damage. And I was quite shocked by that. I thought I was supposed to have some damage, and they said no. And they said, in fact, you haven't even had a heart attack. What you had was a spasm of the artery caused by the things that I had been taking, and there was actually no damage, and I had a clean bill of health. And there was a part of me that just thought, perhaps I'd healed through accepting my fate. I didn't know, but it kind of felt like that was the case for me anyway. After that, I was armed with some knowledge that I didn't have before, and that was how I could access those states a lot more readily. I came out of that experience with a lesson, and that lesson taught me you never know when death is going to come for you. It doesn't happen when you're old necessarily, it can happen at any time throughout your life, and it taught me that you need to be ready for it. And what did I mean by ready for it? I meant my consciousness needed to be ready. My awareness needed to be ready. And little did I know then the journey that would take me on.